All right, well, here we are, episode 35. It's exciting. It's been a good time. We're a little removed from Bike Week now. We got a little bit of sigh of relief while spring break kicks us in the nuts.
You get busy for spring break?
Oh, God, yeah.
Really?
Oh, dude. I'm on the beach.
The 22-year-old kids throwing up in the corner trying to drink dollar shots?
Yeah.
That's what you get?
Well, not dollar shots. I ain't getting that. But yeah, dude, we get the spring breakers.
I got to start hanging out at your place a little bit more.
Oh, dude, spring break's nuts, man.
Really?
Nuts.
Is it good money?
Yeah.
They drank?
Yeah.
Daddy's credit card?
Yeah.
Got those platinums, those ting cards?
Uh-huh.
Good for you.
Dude, spring break's awesome. You know, being right on the beach, that's where people go on spring break. They go to the beach, so being right there, man, it's just a come in and spend your money.
Spend your daddy's money.
Yeah, not their money, but somebody's money.
Somebody's.
Hopefully it's their name on the credit card.
Somebody's name. It doesn't matter, right? As long as it goes through.
Yeah, well, if they call, you don't want to charge back.
How many chargeback you had?
I don't get them very often, man. It may be 2 or 3 a year. I don't.
Have you ever tried that trick where you charge $1 and then put the tip in?
I haven't, but I've seen it.
I think I want to try it next time.
I mean, it works.
Even if it doesn't, it does.
Yeah.
So $1 charge and then leave the $20 tip to make the $21 bill.
Yeah. So super illegal.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it does work. You could do it, but you're setting yourself up for, litigation at that point. But yeah, so if somebody has like $3 on their card, you can run it for $1. And then the tip, you could put $70, $80 and it'll go through. So
but if their tab shows it's $78, wouldn't that be still, I put it in the wrong spot?
Well, the tab doesn't show it because when you print that out, it's only going to have that dollar charge.
They leave the tab.
Yeah, they got to sign that. So it's only going to be $1 on there.
But if you print out their thing that they left on their tab for $47.
It doesn't matter what receipt you print out. It matters what receipt their signature is on. So you would have to have a signature of that total amount for it to be valid.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it and the bank will pay you and you will get that, but you could, you're setting yourself up for litigation you probably don't want, which honestly, they probably wouldn't even notice, but what if they did?
They probably would because they don't have that much money in there. Let's say their card getting declined.
I mean, if you're talking spring break, they probably don't even know how much money's in their account.
Someone's phone's going off. Wasn't on silent.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our guest.
Hello.
Jordan.
With the phone not on silent. How are you?
It's been a good day. It's been a good day. How about you?
It's been good. Just still recouping from Bike Week.
How long does it take, you think? How long? I mean, you do a lot of bike weeks?
I do different sectors of Bike Week. This is the first time I worked like rally, should I say?
Are you? I won't say a rally girl, but do you do the festivals and all the ones that come around?
I haven't tacked myself in to be a rally girl yet until this year.
What makes you a rally girl?
I think when your booty cheeks are out, you're a rally girl.
Jordan,
right.
That's the first time I think I ever saw your booty cheeks were hanging out.
I think that's the first time a lot of people saw my booty cheeks hanging out. A lot of people were making comments to me like, just girls, like body positive comments, and they were like, what do you do? What is this and that? I was like, well, to be quite honest, it's typically always this way. I just don't usually show it off. So you're just getting a up close and personal view right now. But yeah, rally life is definitely it's a hard, I mean, all jokes aside, the booty does stay out, but it's long hours. You're moving and grooving the whole time. I've heard people say stuff like standing in one place, but you are not. It's nothing like that.
It's
nothing
12,
like
15 hours, isn't it?
Well, for me, tied into my other job, it was literally running around for 22 hours a day. And that's not just like sitting around waiting for the rush to come. It's, high volume, sprinting through the restaurant, going home to change, throwing on some Bike Week clothes, and then get into the other thing to put on different hats.
Your other job, you don't work at a church or a school. What do you do?
Surprisingly enough, I'm not a school teacher. I supervise a restaurant and bar inside of a resort here, Daytona Beach side. So I go there to do breakfast every morning. Well, there's a couple of days that I'm off, so those 2 days during rally were phenomenal to not have to go to bed around like 4, hop back up at 6:30, and then get going. But yeah, it's a good little spot. We're busy for events. So when people are in town, whether it's Bike Week, spring break, we just had the races. It's popping over there. So
are you popping without I call them Daytona events? Like, how's the hotel
It's not
normally?
so much popping, but you have hotel regulars. You have people who come into work. We have like construction workers, people working on for Department of Transportation. You have people coming in for a number of things that it's just a centralized spot. It's right off International, beachside, just hit a couple blocks down south. But nothing crazy like bike week or races. You have to have something in town for it to really be off the
So when you
charts.
work these rallies or festivals or events, like, are you ready to go back to work? Like, you
I
know what
never
mean?
stop
Like,
working. So it's like a segue into, I don't want to call it a break, but it's a separation of duties, if that makes sense. Like festival gear, like gearing up towards festival work is like a whole mentality. You have to have snacks ready, ice packs ready. You're like food prepping. You're making sure you have your vitamins. I mean, you do this on a daily basis, right? But it's more of a, you're
More
at
prep.
minimum having a 15-hour day. You don't really know. And like you stay healthy and you keep your practice healthy, but you're drinking tons of water. You don't know when you can step away to use the restroom. You don't know when you can step away to have a bite to eat. So it's like gruesome for some people who don't know how to put that work in. And that's why you can kind of like, people drop off very easily. You kind of like see the soldiers very, very quickly through.
you notice the last day or two, people get a little different. Like, it's almost like boot camp.
Yeah, you're
I
like,
can't do it. I'm done. They're like, no, you got one more day. And then, like, it was funny because, like, one or two people will quit.
they will.
Like day 8 of 10 or day 9 of 10. Like, dude, you're almost there.
You got to do it.
Like,
You
you're
have
never
to-
going to be invited back.
Yeah.
You're almost there. Like, just stick it out. It's a day and a half more.
That happens in I think almost any aspect of life. You put in that work, and then when the going gets tough, you're ready to pull the plug. But I think festival workers and event workers are built different. I've done almost any job that you could think of in the bartending sector, and this one is, I wouldn't say it's more challenging because anybody in any place could have a long day where you're moving and grooving the whole entire day. It's just a different beast. There's a lot of protocols in festival work. Rally work's a little bit less protocol-y, but you still have parameters that you have to meet. You have to maintain a certain disposition. You can't be grouchy. You can't show that you've been on your feet for 15 hours. You can't complain to your guests the whole entire time. Nobody wants to listen to anybody complain. I'm a firm believer in that. Like any topic that could cause you annoyance or issue, like nobody wants to hear your sob story. So paint it on, pour some drinks, make people happy, and you got to do that for 22 hours a day.
What's your best day you made ever?
Like money?
Like money-wise on a rally. Like a bike rally, a concert, Rockville,
Making me
whatever.
talk about money?
Not to get personal, but I mean, it's like,
I mean, like thousands.
is like $2,000 a good day? $3,000? Is that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
$3,000 in a 12-hour shift, right?
Oh
15 hour
God,
shift?
yeah, that's a great day. I mean, I think anybody could say that. It's about where you're at. Placement's never usually determined by you, but if you are good at what you do and you show up and you show what you can, I don't necessarily want to say ring because it depends on what company you're at. If they're looking at those numbers, if they're looking at you, if they're watching the way you hold yourself during those 15-hour days, there's a bunch of things. There's eyes on you at all times. I always like to say, make sure you are presenting yourself in a fashion that everybody has their eyes on you. So even in those moments where you might be mentally like, that's when you might get your $500 tip because somebody sees you on the preface of like, damn, she's been working all damn day and look at her go. Look at that smile. You're really doing it. Like, I can't tell you how many times people will be like, you really put in the work just by a conversation that I have with them or my voice sounding like this because I talk to the customer so much. I'm not just like, what do you want? Double whiskey? Here. Like, there's a
$17.
Right. Here's your $22 1.5 ounce shot. Now pay me. You have to,
And
there's
tip.
a certain art to it. It's a craft. You have to really pour yourself into it.
Craziest thing you've seen at a bike week?
I saw somebody sucking somebody's toes. That was interesting. Just like pointed toe out, gentleman like holding and caressing. I saw a
He
young.
was caressing his toe or
It was
her
a
toe?
girl. It was a younger lady and an old man. I saw a younger lady like toting around an old man. Like he didn't have anything on per se, but just literally by the collar. She told me that he couldn't speak, so just to speak to him or just to speak to her. And so like anything he would order, she would go, "Don't speak," and then she would order it from me. It was funny. He was probably like 81. She was probably like 27. It's
Good for him.
Good
Yeah.
for her.
No, just the reciprocal. Good for both of them. It's
Jones, he's probably a CEO of freaking light bulbs or something.
yeah. I mean, people sitting down and like wanting that attention, and when you find it in something like that, you're like, yeah, I'll run around with this girl all day. Yeah, it's not the
I would
bartender
never
sitting
do-
in.
I'm sorry. No matter how much money I had, how poor I was, I would never let somebody drive me around by a collar and tell me not to speak.
Those people born in the 1940s are built different. They need a little more than they ever got.
But don't you ever just like sit back and be like, man, I wish there was one day where I could just be told what to do.
No.
Like I don't have to make all the decisions all the time.
That part. Maybe not told what to do, but not having to make all the decisions.
Yeah.
Sleep and not wake up and not think about when I woke up. That's what I'd go for.
Not using the brain.
Not using the brain.
Work for me.
Think or not think.
That's the psychology behind it, 100%. You know, those big decision makers are just like, do it for me.
Yeah, like I just don't want to make a decision today. Can you please?
So you want to be dragged around in a collar by a 20-year-old?
I'm not saying that.
Don't ask him his
I mean,
secret
I don't know, it might be fun.
We're on air.
If I see Joe walk around a collar at Fantasy Fest, I'm leaving.
It's a good time.
Secretly, Jeremy has a collar in the closet.
Secretly.
In the trunk of his car.
He's ready to go right now, actually.
Would you tempt me with a good time?
Everyone has their things.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I think it'd be awesome to not have to make decisions for a day.
That's why it
like
works.
just let someone else take the wheel. Here, go ahead, drive.
I mean, those baby bird shots, like people want you to put liquid in your mouth and spit it into theirs. What's the psychology behind that?
Have you done that?
I did that with Kelsey.
You want
to see the video? I'll show you.
Wait, you spit in her mouth?
No, we both did simultaneously one to a girl. Like, so there was a young fellow. He was like, I want to see my girlfriend do this. So he paid for his girlfriend and her friend to get the baby birds from us while they filmed it. Such a boy thing. So for those who don't know, that is taking a shot, pouring it into your mouth, and then spitting it into the other person's mouth for them to take it.
Would you ever be the baby bird?
No, never. I mean, I'm so glad that things are like 115 proof, like this whiskey. But no, I would not want that.
I'm sorry, I don't think I would do that. I'm all about having fun, enjoying life, but I'm not gonna bet some random girl spit in my mouth.
Yeah, you know nothing about me. Like I don't have any cooties, but you don't know that.
Yeah, I do the collar thing before the
or the
baby
hurricane.
bird.
I don't like in the face.
That thing too. I've not done
one
that.
guy got knocked out.
You hit him right. You hit him in that
She
first point.
smacked him. He was out for the count at Foggy's.
I think about it, and if I ever were to be like asked to do it, I'm like, okay, I could channel whatever I have going on and put it into that slap. But I don't think I could do that. I don't. Maybe for enough money.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
you pay me $100 to slap you in the face.
A bitch for $100.
I will smack you in the face, and I will dig
you
deep for
smack
it.
some dudes for less than that, all right?
I am a sweet little lady.
Who are you trying to fool here on? Somewhat tipsy.
Money changes everything.
What are you seeing the trends in the last couple of years? Like, what's the new liquors being sold? Is it Tito's? So everybody going for Tito's or Jack but like, a lot of the seltzers, I would say.
A lot of people love the teas. So that whole like Surfside wave, the Sun Cruisers, the Nasty Beast teas. We have like a whole plethora of them. And I don't even think people are going towards the seltzers anymore. They want a flavored tea. They want a flavored beverage in a can. And I think that's for convenience. I think people have liked that for a long time. When White Claw came out, it was that one of the first ones.
It was.
When that little wave started hitting and now we've gotten the variations of it, people love that. They can pace themselves when they're out from noon to
I'm
1 a.m.
surprised how much bikers drink for being on a bike.
That's a whole other
I'm surprised. Like,
discussion.
We promote come
about
down
liability.
to Bike Week, ride your bike from bar to bar, come see our bands, and drink a bunch of beer and liquor. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we have a few vendors that you may want something from.
Right.
Yeah, no, like when I used to come down for Bike Week and we trailered the bikes, like we'd go riding, but once it was drinking time,
That's you, but what about the 80,000 other people that don't do that?
I think in the biker community, you have the rally community, which is very tight knit actually. So once you like step into it and you see the community for what it is, they're all very like, most people should be responsible adults, but they are very responsible towards what they're doing. They travel all over the country, loading up their trailers and going with groups of people who they don't see often. And they could be from A, B, C, D points of the nation, and they're all meeting up in one place. So definitely they go hard, but I think there's still that point of responsibility that they hold dear to them. Because I have people, groups of 4 or 5, they'll be like 4 Fireballs, I'll take a Bud Light, I'll have a Miller Lite, and water for this guy, 2 Diet Cokes. They're the driver, and they're not like hasty about it. They're not upset that they have to be the driver. They recognize that this is I can go out
and have a great time, not drink.
Yeah, me too.
I can literally go out on a Friday night. Where are we going? We're going here, and have the greatest time on it, and I do not have to drink. I am cool with drinking. Maybe it comes a little bit in age. Since I'm 25, since I'm not 21, I'm 25. it may be like that, but I can still go out and have a great time.
It's one of those things I think it does come with age. I was going to talk about when we talk about whiskey. I used to be a big whiskey girl, but as I've climbed up in age, I am more of a tequila person because I don't know if it's the corn, the sugar, what it is, but it's you can learn to not go so hard so much as time goes by, but you can still have a good time. It's all about balance.
But here today, we're going to go a little hard.
Yes.
So, Silver Belly whiskey, Alan Jackson's whiskey, his daughter, Maddie, she's the master blender. It's a very, very good smooth whiskey. This one is their single barrel. It is 115 proof, so get ready.
Okay.
But, I'm really excited for you to try this.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Up. 115 proof.
Yeah, man.
I think she drank some before
This
the
isn't
show.
99 bananas.
I think she drank some before the show.
Viewers don't know. I have a hoarse throat. Whiskey's
She's
very
like,
good
Whiskey
for
is
that.
good for
She's
it.
like, oh my God, I'm scared. Can I take 3 shots? I'm like, you take 5.
Lemon water. I ain't scared of nothing. Lemon water and
You are.
whiskey.
You know what I love about you? You are a 4'11" fireball. That girl, dude, I see her go to the big old biker guy with a patch. I go, not today, Satan.
One of my barbacks came up to me. There were 2 gentlemen that were talking to me for several hours, and they asked me questions that I was answering. And I love engaging in conversation with human beings. It doesn't annoy me, but repeating the same information that I have shared with you. So he was asking me the same question again, and I said something like, I did just tell you that. And he's like, well, I'm not going to ask you anything anymore because you're yelling at me every time. I said, no, honey, I'm just teaching you how to listen. And my barback goes, did you just say that you're teaching him how to listen? I said, yeah. Crack the fuck up.
I think I would just start
That's
making up.
genius.
Say, wait, Lizzie, why don't you just make up something else?
No, because
Tell him you're
I
a
really
teacher and then
truly
tell
am
him
invested in teaching these human beings how to interact with a woman. I had other men reach out to me like, how many times do you get hit on a day? And I was like, most men know better, like by my disposition. And he's like, God, I would feel like a failure. And I'm like, maybe you should not evaluate success and failure versus hitting on a woman or not, because there's different ways to be successful. But yeah, that's an interesting time.
So what is your type of man?
I have no type, literally none.
Well, everyone's got
No.
some
got
kind of
If you
type.
could line
You
up
like-
the men that
you
I've
like tall,
dated,
short, heavier set
none.
dad bod.
I just like connection. Human connection is my thing.
So it's all about the brain. Brain connection, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I have to like intellectually connect with you first, or just not even, it doesn't have to be that deep. There just has to be some sort of like connection, and then I just find you attractive through that. Because I really, truly, my friends tease me all the time. I was telling Joe a little bit before, like I like to stay single. I don't really like to fall into the dating game too hard because I'm a busy lady and I just know exactly what I want. But within that, anybody could really fall into it. I don't have like a tall, dark, and handsome type.
So-
I've been picked on for having no correlation in the people I've liked. None of them match up.
Question. Now, you said, you meet somebody, you're into them. That's attractive to you when, you have those qualities and you just kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah.
So, sexual attraction. How big of a part does that play?
I think that goes into that initial attraction too. I think when I see somebody immediately, I know if I'm like sexually attracted to them.
Yeah.
That's that. I think that's a good question because I don't really separate it. Usually it's like both.
I think you could tell when a woman, or maybe a guy, I see that most women, they'll get, if they're sexually attracted, not saying they want to bang you in the back,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They'll touch you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I've had a girl like
a hand brush.
They're like, oh my God, it's good to see you. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're a little more attracted to them, I'm not saying they want to go take me in the back, but I've noticed women, if it's not as much, it's like, oh, good to see you, this, that. But when they're like, hey, it's good to see you, or the little hug thing, like, because I've seen them not do it with certain people and do it with other people.
I think that's just that comfort and connection in general.
I can tell within 5 minutes if I have a chance.
I think I can tell within 5 minutes if I want to.
You
If I
might
wanna
possibly think about
move
it.
along. I was going to say something raunchy, but I think once as a woman you identify that and you don't get hung up on the trope that society makes you feel like you're not supposed to want to fuck somebody. Like, let's just be honest. I think that women are supposed to like play some sort of like coy chase me role, but like I think anybody knows when they meet a person that is sometimes on the table, or that's one of the first things that come to mind. So if you have the like, I don't know if it's necessarily maturity, but like the experience and maturity to not just act on like intense sexual attraction immediately and build through that connection first, you can decide if it was just something that was like a sexual attraction or like beyond it.
Yeah.
And that is something we were talking about with like the instant gratification thing. That's hard to do on a computer screen in an app. So
It is.
there's a convoluted like,
No, but a screen and an app, you could be whoever you want to be.
you should always be yourself always.
No. I'm not saying you or me. But most guys can be who they want to be, who they're scared or who they don't think they're of. They can be whatever they want to be.
A lot of people don't have the diligence to see through that. I feel like I can see that a mile away.
I think it's a confidence issue. I think, there's a lot of guys, and they were talking about it on our comment thread from the video, the last one we had. And it's a confidence thing. They've been shot down so many times that they just don't even have the confidence to.
Then change your damn game
Or
plan.
stop trying.
Stop trying. So try now.
Just stop.
I just don't stop. I think it's more fun. It's just show the fun of it.
I will say, I know when it changed for me. Like how
You
like
got married?
No, way before that. Way before that. But no, like when I realized I got that confidence to where like,
Is it confidence or don't give a shit?
No, it's
No,
confidence.
it's confidence.
Confidence is everything.
because
In all sectors.
I was always nervous and like kind of and then I fucked a 10. And ever since then, goddamn, like I fucked hotter than you, like in my head, and I'm
God.
just super confident about it because I did. One time I had sex with one super hot chick.
Was she drunk?
We had been having cocktails
There were cocktails involved.
Was it more than once?
with her.
Yes.
That's so interesting. There's such a
It's still in the highlight
still-
I
reel.
was going to
It's
say
still the
the
highlight reel.
perspective of men versus women and like the whole numerical system of rating is so funny to me because like when you asked about my type, no type, but there's never a scale. Like I don't think when me and the girlies are talking about a guy, we're like, oh, he's a 10. We're just like, he's hot as fuck or he's cute. Like there's, but men are very much like, I fucked a 10. I'm like, the y'all scale is Bible for you guys.
So,
That is
like-
like the Richter scale as far as weather goes. You
think
guys
it's
got a
different.
scale.
Listen, I've had 10s that the relationship was horrible.
Oh,
I would
had-
love to talk about
I've
that
had-
because
I've
the
had
10s out here are.
I've had 6.5s.
what determines
I've had
that?
6.5s and I thought about marriage. Not literally, but you
hotness
understand what I'm
to
saying.
crazy scale.
The ratio.
The ratio. That's the scale.
See, I disagree with all of this.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The rating scale is
Where did
binary.
you come
Yes.
Rating scale is binary.
That's what I was trying to segue
It's up
into.
to personal.
It's ones and zeros. You either would or you wouldn't.
from? That's not true.
That's it.
I love
That's
that.
not true.
That's 100% true.
Alcohol. You've never taken home a 6
I have
in
said
alcohol?
so many
But, like,
times.
what-
Doesn't mean it doesn't push someone from a zero to a one.
What constitutes a 6 versus
but
a
it's
So you
10?
think there's a
binary.
red or a white? That's it. A red shirt, blue shirt. That's it.
That's it.
What constitutes a
Bull,
6 versus
bull,
a 10?
bull. You're totally wrong.
But my mother taught me this, and she said when you go into a bar, you pick a clock, right? And this is someone you would
Pick
just
a clock.
you would just barely not go home with this person. When you drank enough to where they look okay, go home. That's your
Yeah.
clock. It's time to go home. So it's a binary system. You either would or you wouldn't.
Nah, to me, it's a
when
challenge.
they move from a 0 to a 1, it's time to go home.
That is such a interesting perspective because I don't even think women are like you guys are literally going. Your mother gave you advice about when you go into a bar.
Your mom gave you
how to
dating
gauge
advice?
when it's time to go home based
awesome.
on an interaction with a female, and that's so crazy. Not really like bless your mother, but because a woman is not having that same experience. We're not like going into a bar like, all right, the men around here, that sexy motherfucker. Okay, cool. That ugly guy, like, gotta go home if I think he's cute. We're just like, living for the moment. But we all have different like goals. I guess
Everyone has a different scale. Too.
I will disagree with that statement. I have walked into a bar, saw a new bartender this, and gone, damn. And then she talks, she walks, she
And
does
ruins
something,
it.
and I'm done. I wouldn't even take her home if I had to.
So
I
she
love
moves
that
from
you
a 1
thought you
to a
could
0.
take the bartender home anyways, because we should talk
But
about that.
it had nothing to do with looks.
So
It had
rare.
to do with everything else.
You're never
For
taking the
sure,
bartender
but
home.
she's moved on the binary scale from a 1 to a 0. She was a yes, now she's
So you
a
think
no.
there's either one or two?
It's you
Or
either
what
would
is
or
it?
you wouldn't. That's it.
But would or wouldn't changes with the
but it
amount of
changes.
silver belly.
Because I walked in and she was a 1. Then she started talking, moving, and walking. I'm like, now she went to a 0.
Moving and walking. It's over.
She walked right.
moved.
She moved. So then
I need
all of a
that
sudden
one still.
Have you ever hung around someone long enough and I tell you, I've walked in and I run a lot of bars and now I'm something like that girl's hot. And then I look at her like she's cool, but like I don't see
Yeah,
them.
the sexual attraction goes away.
It's gone.
But
well, that ties into that, like that
gone.
intellect piece. That
I guess you went to a
connection
1 or to a 0.
when you were asking me like how do I judge,
Yeah.
on the scale, because at least with me it's purely sexual attraction. It's not like I'm going by first look in the rating, because then you meet somebody, shit changes.
Yeah.
You get to know them, it goes up or down. But like I judge a 10 to where like if she is that hot that I shouldn't even have a fucking inkling of a shot, that's a 10. If I get a 6, yeah, we make sense.
I guess that's me being like more of the non-binary scale and not recognizing the scale, because I'm like, I truly don't have a type. So somebody who my girlfriend might consider being like, if they had a scale and considered it what they used, 2 versus a 10, I might love the 2 if he was funny and we had good chats the whole time, and maybe I had a couple drinks. I don't know.
Oh,
It's one of
everyone
those
has their own
things.
scale.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own
Yeah.
way that they judge attraction and everything else.
That's it.
It's just, I think, the sexual attraction is, at least for me, purely based on, having
initial
sex.
encounter.
Yeah. I will never, date someone just because they're hot.
Yeah.
I have to date, because it's a big thing, at least for me,
Partnership.
dating. Yeah. Like you got to have, I like having, opposite things, but some, things in common too. But if it's just a one night stand, I'm gonna start at the 10 and go to the 9, then go to the 8. I might
Start
make
with
it all the way down to
hottest chick
2,
in
but
the
I'm gonna go down the ladder.
I love that for you. Is it successful? Well, you got a 10. You told me that story.
I mean, it used to be. It's been 10 years since I tried that out, but it was in my 20s. It was super successful.
I love that.
You never fail if you just keep going down the ladder.
Should we drink whiskey to
I
Negative
think.
3.
to that?
Yeah.
To
I think a little
in
silver
that
belly.
So silver belly.
Yes.
Where's
Cheers.
yours? Are you not?
I don't drink
Okay.
anymore.
Well,
Too many
congratulations.
2s.
Yeah.
Too many twos.
Too many twos.
Air cheers.
2s.
But yeah, it's just, and I think,
Tasty.
right? Delicious.
very
It's good.
smooth.
And it's warm room temperature and it's still good.
It's honestly like no bullshit. It's good. I drink a lot of tequila now because as I grow up the age ladder, the agave plant is much more kind to me than corn. But that's really, really delicious.
I turned 25. I'm staying 25. I don't know where you're
Forever?
going. Forever.
I will always be 25. at
Forever
heart.
young.
I mean, people perceive me as younger than I am. I'm going to hold on to that youth as long as I can.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't let that go.
No, never. Healthy lifestyle, baby. As I shoot
Have
whiskey.
you always looked young though?
Yeah.
When you were 18,
Always,
they thought
always,
you were 14. When
everybody.
you were 25, they thought you were 18.
I couldn't wait to turn 30 because people would tease me in like a bar setting when I was running it. Like, oh, you're 25. Oh, and I'd be like, ugh. Like, and I couldn't wait to turn 30. And then the moment that you turn 30, you have like people who are 28 being like, oh, honey, you look so good. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. 2 seconds ago, I was too young to even do shit. And now I'm too old to even
You
be
look
with the
good for- you
girlies.
look good for 30.
Right. You look so good, hon. I'm like, okay, thanks.
That's one thing I feel really bad in the industry that we all work in, for women. And the point of when it comes to going into management, you get no respect in your 20s at all. And it's unfortunate, but it's reality.
I've had 20-year-old bar managers that people respected. They were great.
They
It's all
told you
about-
they respected them.
That's well, I'll
I
tell
think they
you.
do. It's how you hold yourself.
I can say just for my supervisor position recently, and it's in a very corporate sector with,
Do you like suit? Do you like suit? Do you like wear a suit?
I wear a polo and slacks.
I know we're going to practice.
So I was going to say also, just as a side note, I'll finish that part, but my customers came to see me for Bikeweek. So I would be like, I am not going to be in a polo and slacks, just a fair warning. And then they saw my butt. But it was a very night and day experience for them. But
What did they say?
They were very kind and respectful. They were like, you did warn us that you weren't going to be wearing the uniform and you were right. I was like, yes, I was. But it's a dynamic that I know I have the confidence in the, I don't like to be like forceful in the workplace, but I definitely could be, right? And I'm also this small little like blonde girl. So I can understand that I have that conception as like people perceive me in that light. So certain communications can like fall underway as where like a man with a certain disposition would be immediately listened to. Where when I with a certain disposition might be taken a little bit more playfully or light until I have to be like,
No.
But that just comes with certain workers. Like it depends on the workplace.
I think it's how you talk, how you look people in the eye, how you let them know I am woman, hear me roar. I'm a manager, like not arrogance.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a little bit, but I don't treat any restaurant woman manager and man manager any different.
Yeah.
No.
I try to.
Technically, honestly, sometimes women are better.
Yeah, they are. Duh. I like how
sorry.
you're like technically.
So
Like,
that-
besides you, Joe, and everyone, but like sometimes I mean, like I've never hired a bar manager or kitchen manager based on male or female.
yeah.
No, I haven't
Sometimes the
either.
women have been better. Sometimes the men have been better. Sometimes black, white, pink, purple, it didn't matter. I
Yeah.
hired them on their experience and how they held themselves. And if they had to deal with this situation, do I feel comfortable with them talking to an employee or a guest
Yeah.
in that situation?
But
That's
it's your
the main
other
point.
staff members
Their disposition towards them.
towards them. That's
And
what
everybody
it is.
comes to the table with their own preconceived notions about human beings. So, like, did you grow up in a household where the man was the man of the house and the woman was kind of like, inferior to everything else? And so when you have a person in power that's a woman, do you respect them or not? Like, I try to gauge any human interaction that I have with the basis of they had a whole world that I don't even know about. So, like, this probably has nothing to do with me. So you also have to gauge your behavior based on that, because there are a multitude of ways you can handle things, but I feel like full communication, confidence, direct eye contact, being stern and being direct would always produce a good result. But is it received well? And then how do they run with it?
If you have this 40-year-old bartender and then this 23-year-old bar manager, there's going to be comments. There's going to be
Because why? Jealousy? Because of what?
jealousy, age.
Superiority.
Yeah, like I've been doing this for 20 years, and this teeny bopper's got the job
But
I
if
wanted. It could
Teeny
be
Bopper
anything.
can handle it better than 40-year-old virgin. I don't know what they have to tell you.
On our end, I agree, but on the staff end, you really can't control how they feel.
Yes. I can tell you a good
Feelings
example.
are feelings, though.
Feelings are feelings.
They are,
Jeremy.
yeah.
And
Big
there's no feelings
feelings
in baseball, man. There's no feelings in the bar.
No.
There's no emotions. There's no emotions.
Cut it
Yeah, we
out.
would like there not to be,
Do
but there
you
is
have
all the
Do
time.
you
We are
have
humans.
emotions in business?
Me?
In business, yes.
No, the rest of my staff every day.
Right, but you can't have emotions in business.
No.
Good
So if I can
gracious.
find a girl with no emotions,
don't
which
think you
sometimes aren't. What?
It's not like he gets it.
Get what?
No, it's not about
It's the
us.
other people's emotions.
It's the other people's.
Because you're
like
managing
your
them,
staff
literally.
members.
You're managing other people's
Dude,
emotions.
I brought on a 22-year-old bar manager one time. Yeah, we were a staff of like 8. Nobody had a problem with it. Everybody respected it.
That means you had a good staff.
They said she's the best one. I said you could do it, but you're not available. You can't work 6 days a week, right? No, I got school.
Well, that's
you
good.
Can't, like I gave each one of them a reason why,
That's why they did.
and I gave them each reason.
Ego didn't take center
I gave
because
them
they didn't
each a
have time
reason-
for that shit.
I gave them each a reason why. You're in school. You're going to Embry-Riddle. You can't work 5 days a week, open to close.
Yeah.
You're right. And I gave each one of them kind of a little definition of why they weren't selected.
But what if that 40-year-old is open availability and is like, I want it?
but she's not ready.
I know a really good friend of mine that works in New Smyrna. I'll send you over there.
Deflect.
Deflect.
But I mean, that's where you're going to run into the problem. It's the veteran that wants the job.
But why isn't the veteran been in there?
I'll tell you why.
She's-
Because they're
she or
stuck in their
she's-
ways.
he or she's-
They aren't usually pliable when it
And
comes to.
I can mind change a 23, 24-year-old bar manager, and I can't a 40-year-old bar.
groom a baby.
Yes,
It's-
I mean
it's
yes,
true,
it is
though.
grooming, and I
Yeah.
know it sounds so creepy, but yes, I can groom him or her. That's
gonna be a great shirt.
It is. But
Can't wait for that.
I could groom him or her into the way of running the bar business.
I was
the
groomed.
40-year-old You were groomed,
I am a victim of grooming.
but I've groomed a lot of girls and guys into the bar business because I'm like, no, you don't do that. You don't yell. You do this. You don't do. A 40-year-old's already decided what it is. He's already passed. He or she's passed or failed. Already done X, Y, Z. Already knows that if you yell at a customer, you're not going to get written up to everything. Already knows it's going to happen.
Right.
So
They're stuck in their ways.
They're stuck in their ways.
If you find, I mean, all jokes aside, it's a good idea finding somebody and like instilling in them what they need to know in the industry young. Really, I mean, it created a huge preface for me of knowing how to behave, but also in the comfort of my own like leadership, right? So somebody's teaching you how to do it the way they want to do it, and the way they want things to be done. And in small dive bars, we're here local in Florida. We have little bit of leeway to kind of.
When was your first managing? And I'm not talking about key employee where you lock the doors and throw the last person in the safe. No, Hooters key employee does not count.
That's
when
so
was your
funny.
actual managing? How old were you?
I love seeing key holder on a resume.
Right. All that means is you were allowed to lock the door.
You were the person who was going to show up in the morning.
You could pull down the safe and drop it, or you unlock the door and let the cooks in and turn the lights on.
We're all hungover. Thanks for being there.
Right.
At least you know they'll be on time.
That part. That's honestly like I'm talking shit, but that's a really good one. Thank you, key holders.
How old were you when your first real bar manager, bar supervisor, general manager, whatever job? How old were you?
22.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your position?
Just bar manager, small local spot that grew
Were you
into a
ordering
big
liquor
restaurant.
and staffing and doing the scheduling?
It was only me and one other bartender and a rotation of like probably almost 2 years until we
So
staffed
you were
up
bar
more than
manager
that.
of 2.
Of me. So it was a small little local spot. It expanded into a restaurant about 2.5 years after I started with them. So at that 2.5 year part, that's when I really started like the managerial stuff. But that, I mean, we could go into a whole nother segue of like local businesses and not actually giving titles to people that are doing all of your operational work. So for literally 10 years, I wasn't receiving a wage, but managing an establishment based on inventory, sales, doing numbers, pars, management of kitchen staff, floor staff, everything, for several years. But that's just kind of the Florida way. For the experience. And granted, I talk about this experience in a light that I always want to highlight, that I learned so much and gained so much perspective from it, because without being able to do that in like a comfortable position, say aside from corporate, you do every single job within a restaurant without necessarily being worried about, you know, how we were talking about the 40-year-old versus the 22-year-old. The 22-year-old's eager because they want that manager title. They're like, yes, I want it. But if you're just falling into making sure that your business is running sufficiently, you feel responsible for the success of the business, you put the business first, you know how to run a business outside of just being a manager. Like, you don't need the title. You're worried about making sure the ins and outs of the day are going exactly how they should go. And then you feel that's your responsibility. That's really what a manager is. That's really what it takes. So I think younger people are eager to do that because it sets them aside from the older ones who didn't necessarily do that. And then you find the conflict between the 40-year-old who sees this 20-year-old coming in and taking over shop and being very capable, and them kind of doing some reflection like, why didn't I get there? Why didn't I do it? And sometimes that causes that rift that we talked about. But
what do you think the biggest thing between a manager, one of the top things you think a manager should know or be able to do as a manager? Because there's one thing I look for, which nobody really ever has. There's one thing I actually look for.
Just when you ask that question, the first thing that comes to mind with me, with my experiences, especially in the hotel, I think that every manager should just remember that everybody is a human being. Like, when I have call outs, when I have people who come in late, different things that are happening that aren't necessarily affecting my operations. Can the show still go on? Yes. Am I going to rail them out for having a human experience? No. Showing a little bit of understanding while still having the authority that they're not taking advantage of the kindness. I think that the most important thing for me that I've implemented in this new position that I've been at in a very corporate managerial like setting is having the understanding that I would expect to be extended to myself in the past that never was. That doesn't really have to do with business inner workings because that's a whole different ballgame. But once you just start on the human side and remember, like, hi, I just, anything that comes down the pipe. I don't want my employees to lie to me. I don't want them to feel like they need to come up with this elaborate excuse about something. I want them to be upfront. I want them to know that our business. I'm late
because the dog ate my homework.
You know what I mean? Like, just let me know what's going on, and I'm gonna, as a supervisor, I'm gonna step in and do whatever needs to happen, regardless. I just want that communication piece. I want people to feel like they can just be upfront with what's going on in their lives, and then hopefully we react around it and shift and move and make sure that the business is still afloat. Like, I don't want everyone to feel like, oh my gosh, something happened and I'm going to lose my job tomorrow. I've had, and that's a personal situation, but I've had to deal with like a mental breakdown during work for somebody who has like different situations where
I've dealt with 10 of those.
Sitting with someone kind of crouched over and concerned if they could even drive home. Like the interpersonal workings of those kind of things. I think it's really important for me as a person in a position of management to understand these people. Now, granted, I'm not in a space where I have a lot of like BS, so it's not like it's coming down the pike all the time.
You have a lot of corporate, don't you?
Yeah.
One thing I wish managers would learn is about saving and about cutting. And
God,
every time you throw that ice cube away, it costs me money.
Oh,
They're the first ones that'll just comp a drink, or, oh, you made the jack wrong, and they'll throw it away. Now, they're doing the right thing. They comped it. They didn't delete it. They're doing the right thing, but I wish they actually cared. Like, when I look at a schedule, I actually care about payroll. Yeah, even though it doesn't come out of my damn pocket. I no offense, I could give a shit less whether your payroll is $6,000 or $5,000.
Right.
I don't make any more bonuses. I get nothing more, whether it's $6,000 or $5,000. But I can't do a schedule without looking at where can I make a cut. Okay, I can look at something and say, okay, Stephanie's a strong bartender. I don't need Rachel on at 6. I'll put Rachel on at 8 when I get busy. That 2 hours only have one bartender. That's only $20 this hour. Rather than having Rachel and Stephanie on, that's $40 this hour, or 20 and 20 or 10 and 10. So I can look, instead of $20 an hour, I can do $10 an hour. Like,
I'm glad you
at one of my bars, we did a schedule, and I said, no, I don't need barbacks. What do you mean? We always have bar. I'm like, you don't need barbacks. I'm here. Why the hell would you have a barback? If I'm helping manage 2 nights, why do you need a barback? So he can sit there. Granted, he's getting $10 an hour plus tips, but I can do the same damn thing. I can get ice. I can close a door. I can sweep a floor if you need it. And I actually cared for the 2 shifts and go, I don't want you to schedule a barback. Even though for me, be easier, just put a bar back, close up, let me know, you want me to lock the doors.
Right.
I don't really care.
That's a good point.
But in my head, I could not.
A lot of, I haven't been in a restaurant like that for a long time that's had that kind of issue, but that brings up a really good point in our industry too, like the bar back versus the bartender thing. And especially in like the festival industry, it's a very, I don't want to say it's like a common point of contention, but a lot of like, what do we tip out the bar back? What do the bar backs deserve? You have like a stern side that's like, give them everything. And you have a stern side that's like, I could have done it all.
What do you think they should get?
It's 20% is like the standard.
Of what?
Your sale or your total
Tips.
earnings.
Okay, so if I don't tip you, you still owe the bar back.
No,
I'm sorry, tips. You said
No,
tips.
trust me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into the politics
I
of
wanna
this
get into the
because
politics of it.
I think it's very touchy.
Do you think it should be on? Do you think it should be on sales or on tips?
Well, it's based off tips.
I think it should be tips. I do
Sales
tips.
is crazy because if I was selling food, for instance, and that took up $3,000 of my sales, and say we don't have a food runner and I'm running every bit of food, and say, so before I touch on that, where I worked for the 10 years I told you I was managing, we never had a bar back, not one time. And there was only one person on manning the bar and about 16 tables, including like 2 12 tops and then the rest 4 tops and a couple 2 tops. So out of 16 table, you got a lot of seats there, and your one bartender is running everything.
Day and night, or just
Day and night, all the
So
time.
on a Friday night, that's it.
That's it. There would be a couple people during weekends.
Stupidity on the ownership part, not putting somebody else on that makes sense on the busy times.
It wasn't like necessary, if that makes sense.
The owner needs to get his ass up and go out there and serve some tables. Then.
Yeah, fuck that owner. If you guys know where I used to work, but it's one of those things where
Stop talking about Applebee's like that.
yeah, god damn it, Applebee's. But it was, so basically I was sharing that story to say that I was used to doing it all and then coming into a world where the barbacks are an integral part of your work versus they weren't before for me. But I can also comprehend that this is apples to oranges. Like, could I make it swang for a whole weekend by doing all my ice, all my stuff? And that was the thing that I did for a decade. Yes. Can I go into another atmosphere? And no, like for Bikeweek, for instance, if I ran out of White Claws and my bar back wasn't there in 10 minutes, I had 15 people that wanted White Claws. I lost hundreds of dollars on all of those sales. So that's an integral.
But that's your job to let him know what you need.
Oh no, God, I know. But
Because most barbacks can't like go back there and say, okay, she's almost out of Jack. She's got 3 ounces of Jack.
Why can't they do
You don't
that?
train
They
them
don't.
to go back
I
and
try.
look
Well,
on
I
They're a
try,
bad
but they
bar back. That's crazy. But not even that.
But I think it's a team effort. I think it should be communication. Hey, I'm almost out of Jack. I need more ice. I have no problem with you walking back there as Mr. Barback, and I tell you the 8 things I need. You look at the 2 or 3 other things. I'm not looking at lemons and limes. You figure it the fuck out whether I need lemons or limes. I'm not doing
Not
it. But
that
when it comes
part,
to
Jeremy.
Jack and Bud Light, we can both call it together. I have no problem as I'm getting low writing it down when I used to, handing him a list. He does a little once over and gets it for me. It makes sense to both of us. I don't feel that a barback should have to walk back there and figure out what the F you need.
No, I don't think I said that either.
But a lot of people think that they should figure it out.
That's why I feel like
What are you selling? I got big Jack drinkers in front of me, so bring me 2 bottles.
I like it when a barback knows what they can go back there and look
They
and
don't,
can
though.
handle
But they
business.
But they
But
can't
let me
because
tell
if
you, they
if
do,
this
though.
customer is a big Jack drinker,
No,
you
they
got
know. They know. Like, I'll even tell you. So, let me finish my story. So the place that I worked didn't have a bar back, and we could just do all the stuff, and it was great, and it worked out well. There was never anything hindering our operations just because we didn't have a bar back. But again, The bar was the forefront of the restaurant. The tables, it just ran smoothly that way. It's a very unique situation. Moving forward, the hotel I work at, no bar back. Don't need it. Same
Do you
thing
agree
that
or disagree?
No, I don't need it. No, I do not need it.
Day or night, no bar back?
No. I just think that there's specific restaurants and events that need it. High volume, 200,000 attendee festivals, needed. Bike Week, needed. So I had bar backs during Bike Week. I switched around between bars. So I had an experience of working through a bunch of them. You would have people who would come back consistently. And I think people don't recognize how much of a numbers game bartending and like bar backing is. It's very, very neurodivergent, like special brain kind of work. Like you can look at something and know there's 12 things there and know the par is 24 and you can see the absent space and be like, okay, boop, 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 boop. And these people have remarkable brains. Like they can literally go, if they're talented enough or trained well enough, look, boop, 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 boop. And I would have one of the barbacks that was phenomenal, have my bottle. My bottle wasn't even, Jack, for instance, about 3 shots left. There would be a bottle right behind me, switch it out. He was on it. So it all comes down to professionalism and your training that you've had. Like bar back is kind of like a lower tier to moving up the industry totem pole. So not to say that not everybody's like amazing right out the bat, but it's a very trainable position. So maybe some aren't trained the best.
I think they just bring on
And
random
some
people.
just don't get it.
Who's they?
I've seen some bars just bring on random. Oh, you're bar back? Because bar back, no offense, there is a skill. But there doesn't have to be a skill. If you can lift ice.
I got to bring you into festival work so you see barbacks really putting in work.
And maybe
It
you're
changes
right.
your
I'll be honest with you,
perspective.
I've never
They do
worked.
work.
It
I've been to
changes your
festivals, but I've
perspective.
never worked at it. When's the next festival you're at?
Rockville's coming up.
Are you working it?
Yeah. I'll bring you guys into Rockville. Let's do a podcast in
You
Rockville.
have my tickets ready?
Well, it's interesting that you think I have tickets because I'm bartending, but I can do my best.
It's interesting. It's interesting to think you're going to work Biketoberfest next year on Main Street. See where
I
I'm
can
going
do
with this
whatever I
pumpkin?
want.
Biketoberfest isn't really much anymore anyway.
Biketoberfest is great. I'll be honest with you. Bike Week is great
little
for the money.
better.
I like it better.
Yeah,
you start
it's short
Wednesday.
and
You start
sweet.
Wednesday night with the pre-party at 7-8 o'clock. Some band comes in by 2 o'clock. You're closed. Technically 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. You're closed. You got Thursday good, Friday good, Saturday's the blowout, Sunday everyone goes free home.
Yep.
20 minutes down the road, I can't even tell it's Biketoberfest.
Yeah, it's
It
different.
changes nothing.
It's a
for me.
different.
Well, you went
Volume
from
in
you
town.
went from 200,000-300,000 people to probably 50 to 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy's like, it's much easier to manage. I love it.
Right? It's
It
is.
4
It's
nights
so
of
many less people.
4 nights of no sleep.
4
not
nights of no
12
sleep
nights.
versus a million nights.
Oh, dude, you're walking out there at 5:30 in the morning. You're seeing the sun come up.
And then going right to work.
And the beer trucks are coming in to unload beer for the next day.
Dude,
You don't know what day it is.
Try and work a fantasy fest.
I am down to work
Oh,
fantasy.
God.
I'm going to bring you guys on festival work. This will be fun.
Can we do a podcast on the festival?
I think we should.
Let's do it.
I did Bike Week.
We're here behind bar number 4.
We're here behind the center bar. We have 2 simultaneous stages playing at the same time and our self-speaking. It's going to be amazing. The distance is going to be great.
I partnered up with a guy to do Thunder at the Pavilion. This is
I can say Thunder from Down Under.
Thunder at the Pavilion.
Thunderdome.
This is probably 4 years, maybe 5 years ago. I think it was before Corona. But we had who did we have play? We had somebody famous play. Like I don't even remember. But at the Pavilion in Port Orange, we had tents set up and vendors and everything. I had the
Yeah, I
bars
remember
set
that.
up, and the first we hired a bunch of rally girls. And the first day was like slow as shit. The guy who was running it, I just kind of came in as a partner for the liquor end of it. The guy who was running, he's like, yeah, we're going to be super busy. I hired all these girls. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just bringing the liquor and I'm just here.
There was,
Be here.
there was
Yeah.
112 people there all day.
Fucking,
People
it
losing
wasn't
their
even
minds.
that, dude. There was like the first day, there was like 30. Every rally girl quit
I was going to say.
on day
I
one.
could've
And
told
I
you
was
that.
like, and I looked at him like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, no, they're not here. I'm like, this was your job.
Right.
And
That's,
I had to grab my staff. I'm like, we have like 3 more days of this and I need people to bartend.
I will say, rally girls have like a wonderful following, but they don't be ready to be in the trenches. You have to see a thing through the end. Like even in Bike Week, people
not-
dropping out. You know you're making money for 10 days, right? So the one Tuesday that you're not making big bucks doesn't mean you have to quit, honey.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you, but how many rally girls do you think pocket here, throw $5 in here, don't ring this in?
Oh God,
All
every
the
one of
time.
them.
I had to watch them like a hawk before they quit.
If I sat and watched, just as for yourself, just watch.
Would you say? So
you could see it.
Would you say probably what $300-400 a day goes in their tip
I
jar?
would hope not, and I don't like to think of it that way because I'm not in any type of management position within that sector. But I that's my mentality, and I always think of it that way, especially with a friend of mine, like being in close proximity to kind of making the show go on. I have a very like professional geared brain, so I don't like to see the things that I know are happening like behind my eyes, you know what I mean? Because then it makes me feel obligated to start snitching on everyone, and that's also not something that I want to do. But if you just pay attention, like you could see it. You could see it. I had some barbacks come up to me telling me that they were seeing some things. I was like, don't tell me. I don't want to know that.
So Jeremy knows how anal I am about inventory. Like I am just nuts about inventory.
Can't do inventory.
We do it every week.
Rally.
So under the
Don't
pavilion,
say that.
this is my first like rally as like, doing something. I've been to them, but like actually working and putting on an event. I did it like I normally do, but I did it like we used to do it at the baseball stadium when I worked for the Colorado Rockies. Every day we did an inventory. So we're done. And I'm like, all right, let's go start counting bottles. I already have the sales pulled up and I'm like, yeah, where the fuck is that bottle of Tito's? Anybody know? Anybody?
You're like,
And they're like, what?
everyone's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, no, we're going to do this every day.
Yeah. Well, it's you got so many moving parts, and you have people who are in charge. Yeah, gosh, you could just go on and on about it. The people who are giving out the bottles, liquor distribution within the company, communication with the barbacks who are bringing it to the bars, and just any little thing. I mean, in festival work too, you have some people who know a guy or feel connected to somebody, and they just stash a bottle in their backpack.
Yep.
How
and
many
you're like,
free drinks do you think given away?
if you're smart, you should give no free drinks away because you're not making any money, unless they think that they're getting like tipped and looted.
Like a big
but
tip.
They're regulars from Ohio that come down and see them. You don't think they're giving free drinks away?
Oh, they are.
100%.
I
100%.
So, and I will say, now that we're talking about this, it's interesting because there was a very big divide in theoretical rally girls versus newer people. I would say like festival people, like this year specifically. And one of the things I think that festival people don't do versus rally people that have probably been doing it for years, and this is not accusational, but it's just fact. Like, just if you took a deep dive, I wonder how many people were getting free drinks for so many years. And then when you see a little bit of a shift, or maybe some people, like in the meeting, somebody was like, if I'm supposed to give a free drink to this person, just tell them no, they're not supposed to get it. Imagine how many girls didn't have it's not confidence, but like the authority or confidence to be like, no, you don't get this free drink, versus someone's like, yeah, sure, here.
Yeah, okay.
Because I will go to battle with a little customer. Like, I'm a very sweet little girl, but I will sit there and go, oh, honey, I wish it was for free. Oh my goodness, what do you think I'm here for? I'm just working for free too. Like, just going back and forth with the customer. You can kind of play it to where they're still paying for their beverage and they're still tipping you big because you have fun with the conversation. But I think not a lot of people are like geared to do that, and they're like, here, make sure you tip me big. Like that. I'm just my moral compass is facing north, and the only thing that I can hold true to myself is to make sure that I operate under that guise, and I don't think everybody has that.
Well, temp workers have a little less.
They don't have anybody to
Give a
answer
crap.
to.
Yeah.
And if they get fired, they go right back to work.
How are they going to figure it out? I can see it all. Like, and that's another perspective.
I've done things though where I go out in the first drink, I tip her $20.
Yeah.
Right. So hey, let me get a Corona,
And they'll hook you
and
up.
I give her,
thinking it's coming every time.
And the next Corona, it was
$6.
free
I give her
somehow.
26, and then all of a sudden, well, what I'll do is I'll go out with cash first time. I'll be like, hey, let me start a tab. Give her my card, and then at the end of the night,
It was like 3 Coronas on your
it
tab.
was 3 Coronas, and I had 17 shots, 12 this, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, that's
Thanks
it.
so much.
I'm like, that's it, and it cost me $60 for my,
Stealing.
and I tipped her good, but I'm telling you, it's just. But I didn't ask for it.
But that's
I never asked for it. I gave her my card. I bought a Corona.
No, of course you didn't
I got
ask
a Corona,
for it.
took care of her on the first one. I gave her a $20 tip on a $6, $7 beer. Then I asked to start a tab. My tab was 3 Coronas, even though I had 2 Jack and Cokes, 17 shots, and a burger. My tab was literally $13.50.
And I think that's what goes into like when we talk about like the rally girls that kind of dropped off, or just the different things that make you stay or hang or drop off. It's because they might not necessarily have the leeway to do those kind of things. And that's where you can make money. Somebody told me that they made like $2,800 or that was maybe something. It was like $1,300 as a shot girl one night. I was like,
holy shit.
Damn, girl, do your thing.
You
Pocket it all.
Well, the way the shot girl thing works, I think is great. You buy the shots
think
ahead
it's
of time,
brilliant.
and then you sell them for $7. You make
You're literally a business person right
Is that
now.
how they work it
They
in
give
the
you
rally?
a $2 leeway profit margin.
No, there was
Really?
they were $4.25. We sell them for $7.
It was $6.
$3.
So I think that they told in the meeting they told the girls to sell them for $6, but it was $4. It cost $4. 4 or 5.
So you sell
Basically,
40
it costs
shots.
like
You made
$1,500.
$80 plus tips. So if
was
you
like-
sell 5 or 6 trays, it's not hard to make
Nah.
$1,000.
And you can work that. Like I think it was like for the 9 days, you would have to front like $1,500 to do a shot girl thing.
No, you don't really.
Not. But if you
figure the one
in your
time-
brain,
Yeah, in
if
your
you're
mind.
prepared to like
If every day you put the
every day
tips
you put the
aside, every day you bought a
170,
tray.
If you're looking
right,
at
but
it
if
as
you're-
a business.
Right.
Yeah.
right. If you're you have the 170 every day. If you rotated it, you're good. But that's a whole nother ball game too. So to be able to make $1,300.
You ever done shots?
No, fuck no.
You've never done it?
Well,
I think
I should say I've done everything. I do like
think
promo
with-
work and stuff
I think
like that.
your personality, you could be good at a shot girl.
I could be good at everything. But one
We
of the,
end this freaking show right now.
cut
then.
it off. Look at the timer. We're
Look
close.
at the time. We're closed. Last call for alcohol.
Where's that shot?
Right
Well,
here.
since you asked.
So
I think she should
it's-
drink out of the bottle, Joe.
I think I should.
I think she
I
should
wore a
drink out of the
sweater
bottle.
because it's cold outside, but
Shot
it's
glasses
warm in
are
here.
done.
Boom.
Oh, are we really doing that?
Can you get a straw for your shot, ma'am?
Sure. Can I have a straw?
Go ahead.
But
Let's go.
okay, well,
Sip it on air, baby. Sip it on air.
She went for it.
A girl after my heart.
it's tasty. What can I say?
Yeah, I think if festival work, it's a lot different than a normal bar. Like I was saying, Fantasy Fest is just a shit show. You close at 4 a.m., you're out of there at 5, and then you're back at 9.
I will tell you with the festival girls, though.
I was going to say we should have a festival.
What upsets me
podcast.
about the festival girls or rally girls is
They're different. Festival and rally are different.
you want to work for me 365 days, but you want to take 10 days off. And then you want to come back and have the same job, but you're leaving me high and dry because I'm not an overstaffer. If I need 6 bartenders, I hire 6 bartenders because I can do your job. If you get called sick, I'll do your job.
Right.
Or I'll call somebody that I know will work a double to do your job. So I don't overstaff. So my problem is when 2 girls want to go do 10 days rally on Main Street.
Oh,
or
you're talking
Taco
about your
Bell,
girls at your
now
actual
I'm
spot.
short, and then they get pissy with me because I'm like, I have to bring on somebody else.
You have-
and I can't guarantee you your 5 shifts I know you like your 5 shifts or
Right.
4 shifts, but if you're going to tell me that you're going to leave me for 10 days,
Right. No,
I
that's-
can't guarantee you, and I hate to tell you this, but I can't guarantee you that I'm going to give you your 4 shifts when you get back.
I think they should understand
But I
that.
can go make $5
for
grand.
sure.
I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't lose $5 grand while you're gone.
I'll tell you, when I first started really cycling into like the festival circuit, what they call, is when I left that place that I managed for like 10 years.
What
so
does your job now say when you want to leave for 10 days?
so I just started working at that place the day after Christmas. And it's funny that you asked that because I'm gearing up to, so like early April, a couple days, mid-April, like 5 days. May it's gearing up to some time that I'm going to have to ask off, and I'm
Well, you're not gonna have to ask for Rockville because you're gonna do Rockville both like you did.
where
Right?
I can do local stuff. I
So
can do
what's
both.
the next one that you're gonna go on?
So I'm doing Dreamville, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's
that
a
EDM?
It's a hip hop rap festival. J. Cole puts it on.
Oh, fun.
I absolutely love it. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a rap girly forever.
from Hotlanta.
ATL. It's one of my favorite festivals to work. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. And J. Cole is like a brilliant, he's like poetic. He's a brilliant writer. He's a great just intellect in itself. So he has really cool activations. It's a cool spot. But after that, I have festival stuff is starting to gear up. So for me, I take that into consideration because I'm literally in a supervisor position, but I was brought on under the understanding that I do work these events. So that's an interesting thing that I'm going to have to navigate. But with that being said, when I started the circuit, it was right after I left my job in a brick and mortar for 10 years. And I very much chose to do it methodically so I could be free to travel for the whole year and not have anybody to answer back to. So I feel like girls who are interested in doing festival work or having it be consistent in their calendar shouldn't really have like a like a brick and mortar job.
So they can't really keep it.
People like to say a home base kind of thing, off season. There's a bunch of different terms for it where you could say, you know, Jeremy, and Jeremy's fine with putting you on from like October to February. And then after that, like you need some sort of like come on the schedule at a as need basis or something like that. But like from my perspective as a manager who would have girls like that, for my peace of mind, I would just be like, okay, if it's season, let's just pull you off the schedule. I can put you on where I can put you on, but I wouldn't want them to think there was this maintained perspective that like I still get priority, because you need to understand that you're absent. So whatever happens within my own sector, we'll work through that. But I will just say yes to it. If anybody needs help with anything, like this job specifically that I'm at, it's in a hotel sector. I love having the opportunity to have like perks and stuff when I travel for other work. So everything kind of ties into each other. So I would never leave anyone high and dry, but it's just full communication. Like you just need to be able to communicate like this is coming up. This is what I need. If that's not working out for you, then we pivot, and nobody should have like that expectation, like give me what I want, because you're clearly needing something outside of what a normal employee would need. So
Something like to work the rallies. Is that what you're talking about?
just like going out for festival work when you have a regular job.
Yeah.
And then like you as a manager, like needing to accommodate those requests, basically being like, hey, maybe let's take a little break, do your like fill your circuit calendar up, and then if I need you, I need you. But it's hard because people have bills and festivals are in different types of.
But can you live off just festivals? I mean, if you did
could.
20 festivals in a year, 10 festivals in a year.
There's a whole community, like we call each other coworkers, like across the nation. There's a whole community that don't stop doing this all year long. I mean, my last event, I did Formula One in Vegas. I did Art Basel in Miami. So that was like early December through late December. And then right into January, there wasn't really much until Bikeweek.
What do you think your new job's your supervisor job's gonna do?
Well, my supervisor, my food and beverage manager hired me under the guise that he knows what I do. I just didn't take off for Bikeweek out of respect for I felt like I could do the work, and I did. It was definitely very.
You were smiling.
I was running myself thin.
You were smiling at 4 p.m. when you got there, and I know you had 2 hours of sleep some nights.
The energy was so great though at Bikeweek. Like it was a whole different disposition. I could get through my hotel job during the morning and like get there and like reset and like be around everybody's like bubbly personalities, and then just like get back to it.
I did get that one text. Hey, if you're feeling special, you could cut me.
If you feel like cutting me today because it's slow, I would love to get
She
some
texted that. I'm like,
but he had already came to cut me. He didn't even see it.
I didn't even see it.
He didn't even see the
I'm like,
text.
I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like already cut. I'm like, thank God. But yeah, I mean, you have to, I think at all times, you just have to have respect for the people who are working around you. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a role. We're all making something happen. People shy away from communication. And I've always told anybody in any situation, because, you know, it's a telephone game in any industry that you're in, specifically ours. I'm like, I will always be straightforward, direct, tell you what I need, tell you what I can do, extend myself beyond what I probably normally could do to help out the collective. And that's what you got to run with. Some people are very like ego-centered or self-centered, and they're kind of looking out for their own selves. But once you evolve past that, I feel like you can get a lot done.
See, I think with me, you know, because, you know, I have employees that like to and have that want to go out and do festivals and that stuff. And I'm kind of honest with them. Like, they have to tell me beforehand, like, hey, this is what I do. Okay, I know that. And I know that I have to schedule around that. I know that I'm going to have so much staff during this. I know how to prepare. Yeah. But when they come up and, you know, they put their, I just need to take this week off because I want to do that. I'm like, well, cool. Because what I do blocked out days, kind of like a corporate, to where, you know, busy weeks, you just can't take off. You can't go in and request it. You know, it'll tell you no. And they'll be like, oh, I really need to. I'm like, cool. Well, I might not have a job. You might have one day. I'm not going to promise you anything. If you leave me during a week, you're not supposed to be taking off. Yeah. And because I will have to hire someone else. Why? Because I have to hire someone else? Like you, I only hire what I need.
So you're not overstaffed at all?
No.
Where are you at? I don't even know. Or can you say?
We don't talk about
it. Okay, well, tell me later.
Don't talk about
I got you. But yeah, I don't overstaff.
We don't like to mention all the food just because we
I didn't either. So I get it.
You notice I haven't asked you where you work?
Right, and I was vague about
people can figure it out with him a little bit, but we don't mention it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's
What do we call your bar? The Fluffy Elephant.
Fluffy
I'm
Elephant.
always like, hey, listen, at the Fluffy Elephant. So he works at the Fluffy Elephant.
Got it.
But yeah, it's look, I'm running a business.
Yeah.
And that business needs to be successful.
Yeah.
And if you're going to bail out on me when, that those days are blocked out because you weren't allowed to request them off, if you're still going to take it, look, I need to replace you.
Are you the guy that goes in there and starts blocking off Biketoberfest and blocks off Bike Week and blocks off
Rockville? I have it all blocked off for the next 2 years.
Rockville?
I don't block off Rockville.
So if they want to go work Rockville, you okay giving them off?
If
May.
Well, I will say
I would give one of them off.
That is just like a referral based thing anyway. So it's not like everyone's just like outpouring to go work.
Because I let one go work it last year.
Did you get referred to Rockville?
I did get referred. Do you want to know how I got referred? Let me tell you a funny story about this.
You slept with the drummer
I
of state.
would never.
He's not your type, but you
he's not my type.
But you bonded connectively.
Everyone's my type, but not the drummer.
The moon and the stars.
Not the drummer.
Not the drummer.
See that, Jimmy? She draws the line at the drummer.
Are you a drummer, Jimmy?
No.
So
Jimmy's an accordion player.
So at my little, I would be more interested in that than the drummer.
Jimmy, I'm hooking you up, buddy.
But at the brick and mortar that I was at for a trillion years, we would get Rockville people coming into town, and it's a very specific niche place. So they'd come to grab food or whatever, and I just get to chatting with customers. So one of my really good friends now, from that interaction, he's like, "Why don't you do Rockville? You should." I'm like, "Well, people gatekeep it," and this was probably 3 years ago. So it was do you remember when it was in Jacksonville and then it came down to Daytona? Yep. So it was like in that transition. And then if you remember, there was one time they had it during the summer, but they had to have it for winter because of weather.
That was because of COVID.
Oh, was it?
COVID.
I said weather, but it was COVID.
It was COVID.
It's been a long time. Things are blending.
Normally it was May.
Yeah, so it was
It was May, but COVID happened in March.
Correct.
So May couldn't happen.
That's
so
what
they
it was.
moved it to like
November
that year, and then did it right again in March May the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So did it, and like 4 months later did it again.
Right, exactly.
And it had different bands. They did a great job. I'll give them credit where credit's due. They did a great job.
Rockville's awesome.
It's a really good
Rockville
company.
in November, and then literally 4 or 5 months later to have it again with a completely different lineup.
DWP. But that's the production company that does it. They're good. But so the customer that came in and just was having a bite, having a beer. We were talking about it, and they're like, "Why don't you do it?" I'm like, to be honest, there's a lot of folks that kind of like gatekeep it locally, like, and it's referral based. So everyone kind of has a mentality like, if I'm not making money, there's not money to be made. If more people kind of come into it, then I'm spreading the wealth, which you have to kind of bridge away from that perspective, because there's always money to be made if there's good people working. And he gave me a referral, which I still like poke my friends about, because a lot of my close friends that I worked at for a long time didn't do so, but just a person who I met as a customer, that interaction that I have as a bartender to customer, like making those connections, he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then that's what kind of got the ball rolling there. But it's very coveted, if you will. And it does take a specific set of like skills and stamina to be able to do it. So to mark your name on a person's difficult. So I get it. So I'm thankful that somebody did that, but that's how you get in.
If it's coveted, I have no idea how that bartender got in.
Well, some people slip through the cracks. I treat it as very coveted, at least in my mind.
No, I'll give you credit. You were great. You smiled every day. I know you had an hour and a half of sleep, and you came off a double at your other job, and you were always happy-go-lucky. Everybody loved you. You did a great job for working a rally 12, 13, 14 hours and going to work another 6, 7, 8 hours.
You're amazing for saying that. Thank you. It feels good. I
just have to be nice on her.
You're like, I'm full of shit. But no, I mean, that's what fuels me. Like I want to give people those.
But you got along with the girls, and I'm not trying to blow smoke over here, but the girls loved you. You guys, everyone you worked with, because you didn't work with the same people every time.
Yeah, I worked with different people.
It was great, and I don't think you were pocketing money or anything like that or doing stuff like it was good. We need 30 more you.
Clone me out, please.
Great.
If anybody has cloning technology, please get in touch with me. I'm serious.
All be millionaires.
If only you could have like people that manage in restaurants work a rally, it would be so profitable.
I mean, and we can get there. We're getting there.
And God, we are running out of time.
I'm a yapper.
So we do a segment on the show called "Come On, Karen."
Come on, Karen.
Come on, Karen.
So people will send us different 1-star reviews that they've gotten or they've seen, and we'll kind of dissect it. And somebody sent us one last week from the Drunk Uncle in Wisconsin.
I have a friend who manages a really famous bar in Wisconsin. It's the guy who referred me to, so it ties into the story.
Nice.
Pete's Bar. Have you ever heard of that? they're known for putting shit on the menu like fuck off, like this is for your kid. If it's like a shot of vodka and like crayons, it's very funny. Pete's Bar, Wisconsin.
Pete's Pizza is what I was thinking about. We were talking about that.
Anthony
with
had
Hal.
Pete's Pizza in New York.
But yeah, so like the owner response on the one last week, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. So I looked and I found another one on there. So I think this is my favorite place in the world.
Wisconsin's a good place. Cheese and all.
Cheese curds.
Wisconsin. Isn't it Wisconsin?
Somewhere in
so-
Wisconsin.
This is a 1-star review. Everything was good until we got ready to leave. The bartender tried to stop us, saying we shouldn't drive. She didn't consider that we had been there for 5 hours and had 1 bottle plus 3 glasses over a 5-hour period. I could have passed a sobriety test easily. No reason to be that way. Will not return ever.
So she
No
was mad
reason.
because someone thinks you're too drunk to drive and she was trying to
No
help.
reason
Yeah.
to regulate my drinking
What'd
in
the
your
owner say?
establishment.
So the owner, and this is just fantastic. Bill, we are so happy that you and Deb made it home safe. Let me start off by saying that we always encourage ethical business practices, which includes fair and truthful reviews. We are committed to the quality of your experience, but most importantly, your safety. We value your life more than a few dollars, and that is why we discontinued the serving of alcoholic beverages to your table. Could you have passed a sobriety test? Maybe. But we did not cut you off. We cut your wife off, who then proceeded to get into the driver's side of your vehicle. We only stopped the both of you to ask if you could take the wheel instead. As you stated, you could have passed a sobriety test, making the perfect candidate for the designated driver. Congratulations. We cannot in good faith apologize for keeping our community safe. Karina.
Amazing.
Dude, I like that guy. We got to get him on the show.
Dude, I'm
I
telling
love-
you.
You got to message him.
Yeah.
I love the new wave.
Bring him on the show.
I'll message him
responses.
because this owner, I need
This
to.
guy's like, you're
Brilliant.
wrong.
Like,
I'm
brilliant.
right. It doesn't matter.
I think I text you. I'm like, I want to be friends with this guy.
I love a person who
I
can
want to
use
go to
words
his. I want to
just
go to
like
his
that.
bar and write a bad review just to see what he'll
Just
say
yeah, I
back.
just
to you.
want the response.
See what he'll say back to you, Jeremy. You're an
Everybody's gonna-
asshole. I bought you a shot. We'll see you Friday.
You in the peach shirt? No,
But
that's perfect.
I absolutely love it. This place cracks me up. I just want to go to Wisconsin and go there.
Wisconsin's a really good spot for bars. They do not fuck around.
Wisconsin.
Somewhere in Wisconsin.
And I own the Green Bay Packers, so
Oh,
always
okay.
a reason
So
to
You
go.
and 4 billion
Naturally.
other people have
Not 4 billion.
own a screw in the
It's a
seats.
share.
You own a
What-
share.
Do you own a share of an NFL team? No, you do not.
How
Who
many-
does- this
Boys
guy.
and ball.
How many shares
Boys
are there?
And ball.
It doesn't matter how many shares
You
there are.
own
I got one of
You
them.
own one share.
I do.
One of a billion
No, I don't think there's a billion. There's only like 500,000.
only.
What does that get you?
What does that get you?
Literally nothing. I have a stock
do you have-
certificate, and I'm allowed to say I own an NFL
I
team.
Do you
own a
have
square
any
foot
rights
in
to
Ireland.
anything?
I get invited to the shareholder meeting every year.
Do you go
No, but I could.
to the Green Bay?
Yeah, they sent me a ticket.
You could
But
be,
let
you're
me
a
ask you a
deciding
question.
member.
Right.
You are a Green Bay Packers owner,
I am.
shareholder,
Yeah.
but you're an Eagles fan.
Oh, 100%. Bleed green. Go Birds.
That's wrong.
Why?
Go buy the birds. Leave the, Green Bay.
I would, but I.
Leave the cheese
I'm
heads
going
to
to
the
need
cheese
that
heads.
bottle of
They
whiskey if we're going to keep talking about go ball sports. Just kidding.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Bears.
Yeah, no,
Go
I
Bears.
can say I
Go
own an
whatever
NFL
team
team.
you
Are you,
want
a,
to
are
go.
you a Birds fan?
I don't watch any sports. I have no time for that. I haven't watched TV in months.
Wow, you're missing out. There's
I'm
some
not.
good stuff.
I mean,
No, I don't
I
watch
like a
TV
good
either.
like series, like a binge, but
Good Debbie
I'm
does
definitely not
Dallas.
missing out on TV. I haven't paid for TV in
I'm telling you, eat a little weed gummy, go on YouTube, watch
Nah.
a Somewhat Tipsy
YouTube's not
podcast. It
TV,
will
or-
keep
You too. Watch Somewhat Tipsy. There you go.
entertained
exactly
for hours.
Somewhat tipsy.
And YouTube is TV, if it's on your TV.
Oh, that's a good point. I clearly don't watch it on TV to remember that you could watch YouTube on your TV.
So they have these smart TVs. They're awesome.
have one.
I got to show you.
Though I don't utilize it, I do know about it.
But Jordan, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
And remember to check out our Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, X, and Insta TikTok.
Insta TikTok.
I don't know
It's a
where
new
I was
thing.
with that one.
TikTok. That's
After
a
the
new
ban,
one.
it became an Insta TikTok.
Come to the Insta TikTok. But thanks, y'all. We will see you next week.